If you have an IRA and you want to maximize the amount you pass on to your kids, which outcome would you prefer? Now, the answer may seem obvious to you, but the blue bars are what happens when you leave all of your money in a traditional IRA, and the green bars are when you roll over that IRA into a leveraged legacy IRA plan, a proprietary, tax-efficient, generational wealth transfer plan, and a collaboration between Landsmark Capital and Sage Consulting. The problem is that most people think their IRAs are tax efficient. I mean, that was the whole reason they did this in the first place, and they contributed to it for a long time. But if you've reached a level of financial success where you no longer need these pre-tax IRA funds to retire on, you're going to get double taxed. First with income taxes, and second with estate taxes. Now, as an example, one of our clients' estate was valued at just over $29 million, of which $2 million was held inside an IRA, which they said they were never going to use for lifestyle expenses. They had accumulated enough wealth elsewhere, so they were just going to pass on their IRA to their kids. But then they realized that they were going to get hit with 37% in federal income tax, plus another 8% in New Jersey state income tax when it was time to take their RMDs. Now that's 45% in income taxes right off the bat. And then to add insult to injury, these funds were also going to get hit with another 40% in estate tax at their end of life. So at their end of life, their $2 million in IRA funds were going to be subject to 45% in income taxes, taking the net value down to $1.1 million. But it gets even worse, because on top of that, another 40% in estate taxes will be due on that value, which means their kids were only going to end up with $660,000 of their $2 million IRA. I mean, think about that for a second. Their $2 million IRA was only going to be worth 33% of its value when their kids inherit it, because 67% was going to be confiscated in the form of taxes. By using the Leveraged Legacy IRA plan, they could roll over that $2 million into our Leveraged Legacy IRA plan, and that $2 million could be used to buy a $10 million survivorship life insurance policy inside their plan. That $2 million would be 4 years of $500,000 annual premiums, all of which would be paid for with pre-tax dollars. Then in year 5, they would buy the policy out of the plan using an irrevocable life insurance trust at a 50 to 60% discounted value, based on the IRS safe harbor valuation plus our proprietary design. In that 5th year, one of our lenders would then fund a 5th year premium, and the interest due could either be paid out of pocket or they could accrue the interest. At their end of life, their adult kids would get $10.3 million in death benefit, tax-free net of loans. To give you an idea of how this compares to leaving the money inside an IRA after the double taxation, here's what it looks like. With a $2 million starting IRA value, growing tax-deferred at 7%, at age 90, the IRA would have a gross value of $7.2 million. But after 45% in income taxes, the net value would only be $3.9 million. But that's not it. There would still be 40% in estate taxes due, which means that after 20 years, their kids would only get $2.3 million. After 20 years of tax-deferred growth, earning 7% every year with no down years. Here's what it looks like over 30 years until the wife turns age 100. The blue line is the IRA's net after-tax value we just looked at, and the green line is the Leveraged Legacy IRA value with the premium finance life insurance policy using the rollover. So at age 90, the difference is $7.9 million in favor of the Leveraged Legacy IRA plan. At age 80, over $9 million, and initially at age 71, $11.3 million more benefit in the Leveraged Legacy IRA plan. So if you want more certainty, maximizing tax efficiency, and you'd rather have the green bars instead of the blue bars, consider the Leveraged Legacy IRA plan. Brought to you by Landsmark Capital and Sage Consulting. You'll be glad you did.